All right, so social media is in an uproar over the vague way the New York Police Department chose to describe the skin color of the suspected killer of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. This is how Chief of Detectives Joseph Kinney described the suspect to the public in Wednesday's news conference.
The shooter appears to be a light-skinned male. He's wearing a light brown or cream-colored jacket, a black face mask, black and white sneakers, and a very distinctive gray backpack.
This is who they are looking for. Does he look light-skinned to you? We all know what light-skin means. You know, you say light-skin, you normally say a light-skinned black person. I do not see that. The man that they're looking for isn't light-skinned. To me, he looks like he's a white man. Listen, I want to go to my panel now. Michael, what do you think about this vague description that I understand with this huge manhunt that people are in an uproar about?
Are you coming to me first, Candace, because I'm light-skinned? Is that why?
You. Okay. I'm not giving you the whole segment, though.
So when I first heard this comment, like the same day, pretty much real time, I was saying there wasn't a brother that did this alleged hit. When they said light skin, I said no. And then when they released the picture and I saw it, I said no. This is like a white man, and for some reason they didn't want to say it. Now, also let me just say from the start, as the time of this broadcast, from my understanding, he's a person of interest. I don't think he's been actually named a suspect unless this happened, in the past hour or so. So they said he's a person of interest. But this is like a white man. This doesn't look like a light-skinned person. So, there's a good article from AtlantaBlackStar.com that talks about this and, alluding to the fact that they didn't want to reveal that this was a smiling white male is being sought. They wanted to say he's light skinned. And what that does is then also kind of puts a target on light skinned men. Okay, in that city, kind of puts a target who kind of fit that description. That kind of puts a target on light skinned men as well. But one of the things I think you may see, and Huffington Post had an article probably maybe about 10 years ago, and it dealt with how white suspects are oftentimes treated better than black victims. It's a fantastic article that looked at numerous news stories where African Americans were the victims of crime, and they talked about how the white controlled news media oftentimes would talk about how it's so much out of the character of this white person to kill somebody. But then when it's an African-American victim, they almost want to blame the African-American for their own murder. Okay, so we need to pay attention to this.
Let me bring Matt in here, Matt, because you deal with a lot of law enforcement in your line of work. I'm sure you interact with them a lot. I mean, could there be a strategy that the folks who are in the uproar about on social media may not be in tune with?
I mean, maybe. I do think this is a little much ado about nothing insofar as, they give often vague descriptions of people. However, I will readily concede they would normally say the person is fair skinned, right? They would normally say light skinned, which has a direct correlation in most people's understanding to be a black person. So I understand how people are making that leap. I don't think it really matters that much because I think they could have said just as easily this person is fair skinned or white, it made it inclusive. That's often what they do, right? A fair-skinned person or perhaps a white person or perhaps a light-skinned African-American or perhaps a Latino person. Because phenotype, we know, does not necessarily mean race. All that being understood, light skin does have a specific connotation. When we hear light skin, we know we're talking about somebody who looked like Mike, right? Looks like Mike. But all jokes aside, we understand that. And I get people being angry about the perceived reticence to say this is a white person. Totally get that. I think Michael's 100% right. We've seen that with Dylan Roof. I mean, they bought the guy a hamburger, right? So I understand people's outrage. But law enforcement does often do this. They give a nebulous description close enough to what they think they have so that it kind of casts the net on people who are looking to see, okay, maybe this is a person who meets this description. So I don't think it's really that big a deal in my personal opinion, but I do get people taking umbrage because light skin in particular has a particular connotation.
All right, Matt, I'm going to quote you now to Joy. Is this much ado about nothing, as Matt said? Joy?
This is much ado about absolutely nothing. I see where Mike's coming from, but, him and my dad make me concerned, but, not trying to be funny. Much ado about nothing. He had a mask on at the beginning. They could only see a certain part of his face. He could have been a white. He could have been a light-skinned white person. This is what we've seen later on, right? So to me, I heard early on they were saying he was white. So I think this is much ado about nothing. Guys, we got bigger fish to fry, including on that last segment, there were a lot of half-truths that were shown by someone who was an advocate for the insurance company. We have to be careful who we put on. Just saying.
Henry Louis Gates says, there are 42 million black people in America. Therefore, there are 42 million ways of being black.
We are not a monolithic people. We come in all different shades, sizes, everything.
For me, black excellence is the upgrade to any level of excellence.
It looks like a family who is beautiful and proud of being together, that have degrees or no degrees.
I like that it's creativity. I like that it's self-expression. I like that it's radical at times.
There we go. And because we've been through so much and endured so much, and
we gonna go through some things, but we don't stay in it, And
the intensive labor to educate you about the systems your ancestors built is not always my obligation.
I promise you, you will love it, comrades. Join the community.
Hi, I'm Isaac Hayes III, founder and CEO of Fanbase. Fanbase is a free-to-download, free-to-use, next-generation social media platform that allows anyone to have followers and subscribers on the same page. Fanbase was built through investment dollars from equity crowdfunding from the Jobs Act. People just like you help build Fanbase, and we're looking for more people to help build Fanbase. We are currently raising $17 million in a Regulation A crowdfund on Start Engine. We've already crossed $2.1 million, but we're looking to raise more capital from people just like you that deserve the opportunity to invest in early stage startups without having to be accredited investors. So right now, I'd like you to go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest. The minimum to invest is $399. That gets you 60 shares of stock in Fanbase right now, today. And then use Fanbase to connect with friends, grow your audience, and be you without limits.
When you talk about blackness and what happens in black culture, covering these things that matter to us, speaking to our issues and concerns.
This is a genuine people-powered movement.
There's a lot of stuff that we're not getting. You get it, and you spread the word.
we wish to plead our own cause. Too long have others spoken for us. We cannot tell our own story if we can't pay for it.
This is about covering us.
Invest in black-owned media.
Your dollars matter. We don't have to keep asking them to cover our stuff. So please support us in what we do, folks.
We want to hit 2,000 people, $50 this month, raise $100,000. We're behind 100,000, so we want to hit that. Y'all money makes this possible.
Checks and money orders go to P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20037-0196. PayPal is R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle is Roland at RolandSMartin.com.